The US and Iran are stepping up the blame game over a suspected attack on 2 oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Washington's acting defense secretary, though, claims America is simply trying to build agreement on what happened.
I think, as you can tell, we have an international situation there in the Middle East. It's not a U.S. situation, and the focus for myself and Ambassador Bolton and Secretary Pompeo is to build international consensus to this international problem.
Earlier, the US presented a video it claims shows Iranians removing an unexploded mine from one of the vessels, saying that no one else in the region had the capacity to carry out the attack. The tanker's owner, though, says his crew reported the boat being hit by flying projectiles. Iran has in turn branded America's claims sabotage diplomacy, accusing the US of destabilising peace and security in the Middle East.
Over the last 2 years, the US has been implementing an aggressive approach, violating international law and using its financial and military clout. This poses a serious threat to the region and to global security.
So Iran then is questioning the evidence the US has presented, and as Nadira Tudor now reports, America does have a track record of making false claims.
Event, accusation, war. We've seen it so many times before. Is history about to repeat? That's the US Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who's 100% convinced Iran's got blood, or in this case, burning oil, all over its hands.
It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. These unprovoked attacks present a clear threat to international peace and security, a blatant assault on the freedom of navigation, and an unacceptable campaign of escalating tension by Iran.
But similar bold accusatory claims have been made in the past, and how have they worked out? Countries invaded have undeniably been led by controversial figures, often dictators, but the evidence supplied by the US has more often than not been somewhat lacking, and let's not even mention weapons of mass destruction. Let's take a look at Libya. In 2011, Muammar Gaddafi equaled enemy number 1. Secretary Clinton was there to tell us so.
Gaddafi's security forces and other groups in the region are trying to divide the people by using violence against women and rape as tools of war, and the United States condemns this in the strongest possible terms.
The media swallowed it whole.
Libya mass rape claims using Viagra would be a horrific first.
U.S. envoy, Gaddafi troops raping issued Viagra.
Pfizer defends Viagra brand amidst Libyan mass rape allegations.
Not exactly the conclusion of the UN or even human rights groups.
Can we draw a conclusion that there is a systematic policy of rape? In my opinion, we can't.
I know I said I wouldn't mention Iraq's so-called WMDs, and I won't. But I will talk about Iraq because, remember, Washington's gone into battle against it twice.
This will not stand, this aggression against Kuwait. I've got to go.
In the 1990s, George Bush Sr. was ready to go to war after Iraq's troops entered Kuwait. Not convinced of the need for action? Perhaps this will help.
There, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
That was a young Kuwaiti girl speaking to the US Congress. Cue the headlines. Witnesses talk of Iraqi atrocities, the rape of a nation, and some literal identity theft. And cue the war. Just one problem. That girl was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador in the US, while the interview was organised by a PR firm. Later investigations once again concluded reality was far from the truth. Back to present day, and a new holder of the America's most hated title, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Trump says his time's up.
You will find no safe harbor, no easy exit, and no way out. You will lose everything.
The Trump administration accused Maduro of torching aid trucks. There were photos, too.
Masked thugs, civilians killed by live rounds, and the burning of trucks carrying badly needed food and medicine. This has been Maduro's response to peaceful efforts to help Venezuelans. Countries that still recognise Maduro should take note of what they are endorsing.
And once again, the media lapped it up. A bit embarrassing when the New York Times was later forced to admit it was, in fact, the opposition who'd been striking the matches. So, to go back to where we began, Iran, still convinced by Mr. Pompeo's video? Perhaps the lesson to be learned, investigation before action, as opposed to the other way around.
It's incredible that America still plays this game of wanting to persuade, because America needs the American people to go to war. It doesn't need the international community. What it needs is for the people at home to think they're killing for a greater good. The Americans have to believe that the wars that they're waging against other countries, it's not for America's profit, but because they want to be the saviors of the world. They're the exceptional nation. And this lie, although it still works for them, America has just lost its moral standing in the world because of all its wars. It's lost its treasury. Now it's lost its insanity. And if people don't stand up to America, if the world does not stand up to America, then woe for the world, because the world will change as we know it.